Right, my Year 11s. So, yesterday's task was all about characters and identity. So, hopefully, you all managed to write down who are the characters in the play that do have significant changes of identity or are mistaken for somebody else, or people who are participating in that kind of thing. Now, there's two characters in particular that I would like you to look at. If you are going for the lowest of achieveds, you only need to look at Viola. If you are going for a merit or an excellence, I'd like you to look at Viola and Malvolio. Right? And under this particular lens, so when you've got identity, that identity is tied up with all those things as to what it is to be that person. So in terms of gender and in terms of social status, those are quite important ones. So if we think of a character like Viola, we don't know what social status she starts in, but we do know when she arrives on the island of Illyria, she is no longer of whatever status. She's now the bottom of the bottom. She has no money to her name. She has no family. She has nothing except, well, you'd say the clothes on her back, because she's just been in a shipwreck. So everything that she had prior to this moment is gone. So if she was high social status, we can assume she was educated because she's very witty. It's all gone. All the things we know about her at this point is that she had a twin brother, she had a father, whose name was Sebastian, which we find out later. But she had a twin brother who she looks just like, except she wears a dress. Arrives on the island, then she's automatically told, oh no, you can't be a girl here, girly. So she says, you know what, I'm going to dress like a boy. So she dresses like a boy. Then for the rest of the play, up right until the end, you get this conundrum. You've got Viola dressed as a boy, hanging out with the Duke. The Duke really likes Viola. All of a sudden, she's been there just a short amount of time. He is now seeing her as his best buddy. They've got the bromance going on. There's a couple of times where he says things like, if only you weren't a boy, I could, be into you, kind of thing. When, as Cesario, Viola goes to see Olivia, we get this scenario whereby Olivia, who hasn't been interested in Duke Orsino this entire time, she's all like, I'm going to have 7 years mourning because everybody I know is dead and I'm sick of you. So here's this upper class woman, the servant arrives, and all of a sudden she's like, here, take my ring, hello. So what's Olivia seeing? Is Olivia seeing Viola the woman or Viola the young boy? And why is it that Olivia is quite happy to say and throw all social convention out the window and say, I like you. I'm happy to have you marry better than yourself. So you, Cesario, you come be with me, if you know what I mean. And Cesario's all like, oh, if I could love a woman, I would be loving you, but I am in love with someone else who happens to be the Duke. Fortunately, we've got the twin brother Sebastian. So Sebastian comes rolling along later on in the play, and there he is walking around with Viola's face, but being a boy rather than being a girl. Olivia stumbles along and is like, oh, that is my man's. And she's all like, get married. Marry me now. And he's all like, you're a rich woman I've just met. Should I think about it for a while? No, rushes straight in there and gets married. And he's fine with that. And then Olivia's fine with that. And then at the end, Viola's all like, I've been really a girl this whole time. And the Duke's like, in which case, I'll be marrying you. So both the Duke and Olivia ignore the aspect of identity that is social status and say, we're going to take these people who are lower than ourselves and raise them up to our level. Why is this interesting? That's the question for you. If you look at, say, Malvolio, there we've got a character who he has ideas above his station. Even before he's picked up that letter that's been written by Maria and Sir Toby and Sir Andrew, he's already talking about how he could be with Olivia, and he could be a duke, but he's just a servant. Then he picks up the letter and he decides, oh, Olivia wants me to be raised up. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. So he believes that he's now in with a chance to go from here in his social standing and be raised up. Now, the reason for this is that Maria and Sir Toby want to bring him down a peg or two. Once he's brought down a peg or two and he's thrown into that prison, well, it's Olivia who feels sorry for him and gets him out of there and has him basically reinstated in the house. Then we get the scenario with Maria, and this is kind of a bonus one for you. So there's Maria, who is the handmaiden, the servant of Olivia. She's there. At the end, she ends up marrying Sir Toby, who is an equal to Olivia. The only difference between Sir Toby and Olivia is that Sir Toby has drunken all of his wealth. So he's sort of mooching off of Olivia. Olivia's fine with him mooching because everybody else in her family's dead. And she's like, well, he may be a drunk uncle, but he's the only family I've got. So here he is with his social status here. And Mariah's social status is here. So she gets raised up to marry him. He's already lost all of his money and he's sort of dropped down to almost her level. But this isn't possible in Shakespeare's time. You don't go around shifting social classes. Or do you? Because Shakespeare's papa, he shifted social classes somewhat. He went from a man who was quite disreputable and ended up as, he was a glove maker. He gets a coat of arms and then later becomes mayor of Stratford-upon-Avon. This is quite a social climb. Then Shakespeare, of course, when he returns to Stratford, says, well, I would like to buy the second biggest house in the town. Or the biggest house in the town. I can't remember which. I know there's the second best bed he leaves to the wife, but let's not get into that. So Shakespeare himself rises within society, if you believe that William Shakespeare, who was in Stratford, is the guy who wrote the plays. But it's irrelevant. Of course he wrote the plays. That's my belief anyway. There's some people who will say that... Just look into it one day if you're that interested, because there's lots of discussion as to who really wrote Shakespeare's plays. So here we've got these characters who are manoeuvring within society, which isn't possible in Shakespeare's time. Then if we put on the layer of other things going on, women didn't get to choose who they married. Women were property. And here we've got Olivia at the very start. Before we even meet Viola, we've got the Duke, we've got Olivia. And the Duke is all, I would like to marry you, Olivia. And Olivia is all, I don't want to marry you. She doesn't have that choice. I mean, she doesn't have a father or a brother to make those decisions for her, but she's a woman. She can't go around thinking for herself back then. And here's Shakespeare basically saying, you know what, I'm ballsy. I'm pretty brave. I'm going to write this feminist play. Although I don't think the word feminism was invented yet. But Shakespeare writes really interesting, really good female characters. And particularly if you compare Shakespeare's characters to other playwrights of the time. And then you pop into, on top of all of that these female characters are being played by boys. Because you can't have females on the stage in Shakespeare's time. So now we've got the mistaken identity, and what identity really means has got all these extra layers to it. So we've got Viola, who is pretending to be a boy, but the actor playing Viola is a boy, pretending to be a girl, pretending to be a boy. And that's not confusing at all, right? So what's Shakespeare saying about identity and gender? Is it important? Who knows? What's he saying about social status and identity? So that's your question right there. So if you would like to be going for the lowest of achieveds, have a go at just answering this. Looking at Viola, what is Shakespeare trying to say about identity and gender? Nice, simple question. Or, what is Shakespeare trying to say about identity and social status? Merit, throw in the same thing with Malvolio. What's Shakespeare trying to say about identity and social status? Then, if you really want to just throw in there for an excellence and make sure I can't avoid giving you an excellence, what's Shakespeare saying about identity and social status when he throws Maria into the mix? Because she's got that additional one of on a subject we have oft forgot, we can barely distinguish our own hands. So that's how close she is with Olivia, already blurring this social status. Is there a right or wrong answer? No, there is not. I just want to see some of your ideas and some of your thoughts. I'll pop another little YouTube clip that may help to elaborate on what I've been saying. And by elaborate, I kind of mean it backwards, because the YouTube clip will make far more sense than me rabbiting on than it will to you. So mostly, if you can have a think and just write down, what is Shakespeare trying to say about identity and either social status and gender by that cross-dressing element with Viola, and throw in some other stuff around Malvolio and or Mariah if you want to be proving that you're a Merit Excellence student. Hopefully that all makes sense. Take care, everybody, and I will see you in the chat ski on Wednesday. Oh, the Wednesday chat, we're going to make it earlier in the day, so that's just a heads up there, because there's been some clashes with other classes and things like that, so I'm just going to move it slightly earlier because I can. So watch the time, it's going to change. Okay, choice. Miss you, love you, be good, take care, be kind.